Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning to those on the West Coast. Thank you guys for joining our INECTA University blockchain overview webinar, Friday, 11th of January. This is our first webinar for this year. We started off a good handful of them last year with very, very good results. Some of them more general than others. We did some Business Central general ones. We dove into manufacturing and processing in Business Central. We did more food and produce specific ones, diving into grower accounting functionality within INECTA Produce and much, much more. We do have a pretty extensive schedule already lined up for 2019. It's a mix of both webinars, which are open to everybody, and also classes, which are specific to industries, focusing on seafood, produce, and food, which happen to be the main products that we are offering to the market. Within each of those, we have about 5 different parts of the system that we focus on, and you can take a look at that on inecta.com/university. Sign up there. If you have any questions, if you need any more information on any of those classes, shoot an email to myself. It's bg@inecta.com or sales@inecta.com, and then we'll help you guys out. So I think we're already past the hour. I see people are still trickling in, but I'm just going to go ahead with a quick overview of INECTA, what products and services we offer. And then Johannes, our founder and CEO, will take over and he'll dive straight into blockchain, explaining why it is important to us in the food and perishable markets today. Why are we talking about this thing called blockchain? He's going to explain what it is, which is just as important. And then also going to see how it is being implemented in the market and how we are currently implementing it inside our product. So thanks again for joining. My name is Gudmundsson. I'm a sales director for INECTA. We're broadcasting live here from New York City, which is our HQ, even though we do service all of the US, Europe, and South America. We were founded back in 2001, so we actually this January are celebrating 18 years in operation. It's been an exciting time, and we look forward to a very exciting future. We're a gold certified partner, and moreover, which is more important today, is that we are a CSP direct partner with Microsoft, which gives us access straight to Microsoft to sell products. And we can sell the entire Microsoft suite. So pretty much whatever product they have, we can offer to our customers. This is the new gold standard, if you will, for Microsoft partners. We're a team of 50 people spread over multiple countries and multiple departments. We're open 24/7. We do have customers that never shut down. So that means that we can't shut down. And that really is the name of the game for us, to support our customers through thick and thin. The technologies that we focus on, of course, just over a year ago, that used to be Dynamics Nav, which has been rebranded and reconfigured into Dynamics 365 Business Central. We were one of the first partners to adopt Business Central as our main product offering. So we took the stance 1st of April when pre-release was out to convert our entire product suite into Business Central. We did not offer Dynamics Nav anymore as a package. Everything was Business Central from then on, even before the public release in October was available. We believed in the product, and it really is coming through for us as the industry leader in the ERP space right now. Power BI is a reporting tool that goes very well with Business Central. We have Power BI specialists in-house, and we've been helping out our customers with that. And for customer portals and vendor portals, so these are shopping cart systems for either side of your operations. We use Magento as the base layer there, and then we have developed our own customer and vendor portals on top of that. Alongside with Business Central, we of course offer Dynamics 365 sales, field service, talent, and the entire stack coming from Microsoft. Just recently, we implemented software service level agreement on top of Office 365 for our customers. And if you have questions on that, just shoot us an email at sales@inacta.com and we can give you pricing on that. It's an interesting offering because one of them pretty much replaces the day-to-day IT noise, if you will, that you have within your organization. And then the limited one is really just to buffer up your IT team to help them out with noise, if you will. Simple questions, problems with email, stuff like that, and we can help you guys out with that. Like I mentioned before, our main products that we are offering on top of Business Central is Inacta Produce, Inacta Seafood, and Inacta Food. The pricing structure is very simple. We base everything on top of Business Central, which is either the $70 per user per month, and that is the base package, which they call Essentials. And then you have the $100 a user per month, which includes everything in the Essential package plus manufacturing. On top of either, based on the requirement that you might have, we have Inacta Produce at $50 per user per month. This is the full user pricing. There is also a team member, which comes out as $35 per user per month, including Inacta Produce. Same goes for Inacta Seafood. I'll skip through these pretty quick. And the same goes for Inacta Food. So our pricing structure is very, very much open, easy to understand, and you can scale up and down as much as you want when it comes to the user counts. We do allow our customers to sign on with a lower user count at the beginning of the implementation. And then once you start ramping up and you get closer to a go live date, you can ramp up the user counts as well. This does make for a easier initial payment of the licenses for you guys. And you don't really need that many users at the beginning once you're started, but once you're ready for go live, you of course need the full amount there. Microsoft Surface Go. We're going to do a raffle after the webinar. Once Johannes has done, we're going to go through everybody that is in the webinar at the end of the webinar. So it's not enough just to sign in. You got to stick in there to the end. We'll take the list. We'll randomize one person, and that person is a lucky winner of a Microsoft Surface Go. We've given out a ton of these through our webinars, and people are absolutely loving them. I have the bigger version of this thing, but the smaller one packs about as much punch, longer battery, and it works beautifully with the Azure stack coming from Microsoft. So thanks again, Johannes. The floor is yours.
Thanks, Björn. So you guys can hear me okay?
Yeah, perfectly.
Okay, let me just go ahead and share. Can you share my screen? See my screen, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, welcome everyone for tuning in, and we're gonna just dive into blockchain. It's interesting concept technologically. It's something obviously that is not extremely complicated from like a technology perspective, and something that a lot of people inside technology would think, well, we could do that a long time ago. And so why is this a big deal right now? So first, I'm just going to go into like what is blockchain from a simple standpoint. So a quick explanation of it is that it's a decentralized ledger in the cloud. So right now we've been moving to the cloud very fast. All companies in various industries are adopting the cloud, and cloud has become sort of a safe place to go into, and it kind of opens up for other technologies to come into the cloud, or things to happen inside the cloud that are cloud centric. And blockchain is definitely there. That's what it is basically a ledger of information. It could be timestamped, meaning that it goes in order. And it's decentralized, which means that it is, when it's submitted to the cloud, it gets copied to many different servers, and therefore is, in some sense, secure. And that brings me on the next point. It's secure. So it's actually funny that we're having this conversation right now, and it just, one of the cryptocurrencies got hacked and changed, although everybody's saying that it's extremely secure. Of course, it depends on the implementation of the blockchain, how secure it is. You can implement it so that it's extremely secure. But that cryptocurrency that got hacked was one of the smaller ones, did have some flaws, and therefore was attacked and compromised. But I think in our sense, as far as ERPs and in perishable industry, we can look at the blockchain as being secure. I think the cryptocurrencies have more people that want to hack it than let's say, for example, traceability information about apples. All right. So another point that I want to put in here as well, which is different than just thinking about it as the ledger in the cloud, which is storing data that people can access. This can also execute business process through smart contracts. And that makes it a lot more than just some kind of a data storage in the cloud. And I'm going to just go into that a little bit, how that works. So here's a slide, and I know it's a bit busy, but it goes over what blockchain is, or how does it work. So whenever you do a transaction, you create basically it's a block of information, a transaction. You submit it to the blockchain, and it's broadcasted to various blockchains because it's decentralized, so you have it in many places. And then the block is validated. So there is a certain type of mathematical algorithms that are run to make sure that this block is correct. For example, there's a hash of the total amount of information in there that's generated. It's a long string of numbers and characters. And that is validated by all the other nodes, saying, okay, yes, this is a true entity. It's right, and it's hashed the right way for this network. And then if it goes through this proving mechanism, it is then joined to the block, to the chain. This block is joined to the chain and is now part of the chain and cannot be changed. So if anybody tries to change the block in there, then there's all these other nodes that are validating it and saying, hey, this one is not right. There's something wrong with it. And they flag that. So it makes it very hard for someone to break it, even though it did happen. But it's very hard. You need immense computing power. And then the transaction is complete. So basically, the idea is you're submitting information to a decentralized network of nodes, and it's being stored there, and no one can change it ever. It's permanent lock. All right, so that's the essence of blockchain. And over here, you can see that we have various different industries that could use this. Of course, we have digital currencies, and that's why blockchain is so famous today through Bitcoin and other things. But of course, you can use it for many, many other things, like in healthcare, storing patient data, insurance, voting, a lot of things. So let's take a look at this smart contract. So here we have a picture which shows how a smart contract could work. So we have a blockchain where transactions are happening, and we have a buyer and supplier here. So a buyer is creating a project that he needs, basically a request to buy something. And the supplier can look at what is being requested. And this could actually be a request for a quote. And then he finds something that he wants to supply, and he creates a bid for that quote. And then the buyer looks at those quotes and says, okay, I'm going to accept that bid. So far, this is just a ledger, and people are just submitting transactions, and it's just going along like a simple ERP supply chain flow. But then when they accept the bid, the funds get escrowed for the bid. So he accepts the bid and he pays for it, right? And but the supplier doesn't get the money. The money stays in limbo here. And then when the supplier ships the product and the vendor and then the buyer receives it, the funds are released. So this fund here, this escrowing of funds and the releasing of funds could be done with a smart contract. So once the buyer actually receives it and says, yes, I got it, the releasing of funds can happen automatically. So the blockchain is able to do that part on a trigger, and that's a smart contract. So these things normally would happen with an ERP system or inside the ERP system. So now we're actually looking at things possibly happening outside the ERP system, which will change things drastically. And I don't think this is going to be the case very soon. I mean, I think we still have a couple of years into this reality. But from a perishable perspective, we do have another, though, very viable thing that's going to happen very soon, and that has to do with the ledger of traceability in perishables. But I wanted to touch on this smart contract first. So why a blockchain? We know that cryptocurrencies are, of course, there, and they have proven themselves to be useful. And nobody believed in it in the beginning, and now everybody, or a lot of people, actually are investing in them and still believe in them. So they have stuck around and they've definitely proven themselves. And then you have, of course, business-oriented storage of data and processing of data. So with smart contracts and with these distributed ledgers, and that's very, very useful and could be kind of take over what we do with EDI in a better way. And then we think of so many other things, and not just business. It could be government, like, for example, voting and other things. So there's a lot of reason why blockchain could be helpful. And I think blockchain in general is solving a need that has always been out there, but with centralizing data, decentralizing the data in the cloud where it's safe and it's open for everyone. All right, so a bit about us. Our verticals are integrating right now to IBM Food Trust to comply with traceability requirements. So I'm going to actually jump into what is maybe the most pertinent for produce, seafood, or food in general, is the fact that the big guys, Walmart, etc., are starting to push towards using blockchain to make sure that we have full traceability of product. And so in a letter that Walmart released actually in September, so it's been a little bit ago, and I'm sure everybody is aware of this, they started a food traceability initiative, and I have here a copy of the letter, where they talk about like that they are now going to get really serious about this. They're going to use blockchain to do it. They have certain requirements for their suppliers, and they point to nicely and friendly to IBM to get started on this. So you might actually need to do a lot more than that, and we're here to help with that. This is what we service the food industry, and this, of course, is paramount to what we do. All right, so if you haven't taken a look at what IBM is talking about here, I actually went through the effort of screenshotting their system and kind of showing you what IBM has. And we are, of course, Microsoft partner. We do sell everything Microsoft, but we are agnostic to big technology vendors as long as they provide good solutions. So working with IBM is, of course, fine, and we integrate with them. Actually, I think Microsoft is implementing Kroger as we speak. And I believe Kroger is going for IBM Food Trust. So it's interesting. That means that Microsoft and IBM are working together. I'm not quite sure if that's the case. I think it is the case, but anyways. So with the IBM Food Trust, this IBM says is a blockchain. or it's saying it's using blockchain technology to create a traceability system. So you think to yourself, well, maybe it's just a database that we're like submitting to, and IBM is just storing this database, and it's technically going to be the database for everyone to take a look at traceability. And they're using blockchain technology to do that. And in my mind, I think that's what it is. It really is that. They use blockchain technology, but technically it's really a database that you can interact with. But using blockchain technology should ensure you that it's immutable and secure. And that's what we want. So if you go through their website here, and I just, like I said, went through their system in a demo mode, you can actually go in there and you can trace a product. You just go in, type in a product number and product identification number, and then you can put in the date range that you want to take a look at what's happening with that product. You can even either put in lots or serial numbers or pallet numbers as well. And then you basically get a list of lot numbers that are found with production date, expiration date, and all of that. So you can basically go in here and query lot numbers that have been imported there from the suppliers. So we're assuming that everything that Walmart buys will be in here, traceable, preferably all the way to the source. And I think that's the requirement that they're going to try to push, go all the way to the source. But I believe that they wanted you to do one step backwards. So, to them, yourself, and one step backwards. And I guess they're hoping that they could get the entire chain like that. So here, if we go to the next screen, we can see for these lot numbers. So now you can see I'm looking at a fruit nut bar with the expiration date of 1st of April 2019. These two lot numbers, or 3 lot numbers. And I can see that that has hit 245 stores. It's gone through 4 distributors, 5 manufacturers, 4 warehouses, and 15 primary producers. And so you can see also here, which is very interesting, is that this is manufactured. So it's a fruit nut bar from the manufacturer, but before the manufacturer, we have raw material. So it's traced through the production. And that is the tricky part, usually, for everyone, is that we are going to convert the lots. And so we get through here, we can actually drill down into, which markets these stores are in, which DCs, which plants, etc. So you have details to these. It's not just the aggregate. And then you get a nice graph about how this is split up into, which lots are used, etc., to make the blueberry fruit bar. And you can see individual information about that, how much was produced, when, at what plant, and packaged and sent to, etc. So this is very specific. And it's very detailed. And in all honesty, it's great. And I think that a lot of people welcome this as a fantastic way of kind of tying everything together, especially the consumer. And whenever there's any type of recalls, it should be fairly straightforward, seeing exactly where that came from. So not like enormous amounts need to be recalled. So here we also have a list of facilities that are being set up. And the important part about that is that it's not only tracking the lot numbers that are going through the chain, but it's also tracking certificates. So if the facilities are currently or have certificates for food safety. And you can see here, if you drill into that, we have an upload of documents for a particular facility that's following the BRC standard, and that it's valid, and they've been audited and they've gotten a grade. So it's beyond just knowing where things came from. It's also ensuring that everybody is up to speed regarding standards. And here's a snapshot of one of those documents. So from our perspective as the ERP vendor, we obviously help people with food trust and how to interact with food trust, etc. But we also connect to food trust using our ERP systems, and in particular Business Central. So here we have just a snapshot of Business Central. That's our ERP. And this is actually a snapshot of the item list within our vertical. And as you can see here, we've lot tracked everything. Everything is lot tracked inside and out, and has always been for us within our vertical. So if you are concerned about traceability within your ERP system today, we handle that, and we do that very well. So if you're using Business Central, you should be able to lot track everything all the way through, even through production. And here's just a snapshot of the traceability screen. And in this case, we have something that was received, used on a production order, and then outputted as Mexican lasagna, and then shipped out. So lot 12, lot 1 became lot 12. And so if we were actually reporting this into the food trust, we would see this conversion of lots. Now, on top of that, we also have the one step back. So we have a vendor portal, which allows us to label things and lot track things even from the vendor, at the vendor site. And one of the good things about that is, as you're issuing purchase orders to the vendor, you allow them to go into the vendor portal and see their purchase orders. And you can allow them to print out labels for you. So they label the product up before it actually comes to your site. So you know of the product coming in as it's being shipped from them, and it's all labeled for you with the lot numbers that you will take into your chain. So it just pushes the work to the vendor. It's already labeled, so you don't have to label things up before it comes into your facility, and it will have the vendor name on the label. So it makes that easier. So this was actually, we were taking a short webinar on this one. This is the entire topic that I have on this. I think I wanted to be really to the point of what the requirement is for blockchain, and kind of hone in on that small niche, so to speak. I could have spent the full half an hour more explaining to you the hash algorithms and all that, but I think most of the people that are on here don't care about that. They just want to get it done, and they want to be compliant. And we can definitely help you with that. So thanks for attending.
Thank you, Johannes. While our machines are crunching the very lucky winner of the Surface Go, do we have any questions out there? Any points or questions you guys want to come across to us or to Johannes? Feel free to go to the Q&A or the chat window and post it there. In the meantime, we're actually going through the list of attendees right now, trying to figure out who's the winner. Cool. I think you answered all the questions, Johannes.
If you want to be blockchain compliant, just talk to us. We'll get you covered.
Jim Augustine, hey Jim, thank you for joining. He is asking, what format does the data take to get to IBM XML? So
yes. It's so the IBM has an API. It actually does use similar formats as EDI, ASNs, and stuff like that. But you can send them XML format. And you can use web services with them as well.
Awesome. Coming straight from Lanham, that is a very logical question. Coming from Jim. Thank you, Jim.
I'm sure we'll be working with you guys on it as well.
So Gwynnie Foster has a question as well. She's just asking if there's going to be a video link shared after the session. yeah, I will let you know, Gwynny, after the session. It's depending on what IP we showed you guys here today. There will be a follow-up email with further information. Great question, Gwynny. Thank you. I think that's it on the questions. The raffle is done. The lucky winner is Phil Gibson. Congratulations, Phil. Mickey from our team, he will reach out to you after this webinar with the information to make sure it's shipped to the right place. So Phil Gibson, you're the lucky winner of a Surface Go. Thank you everybody for joining in. Please take a look at inecta.com/university for next webinars and classes. If you have any suggestions or concerns, or you want to reach out to us for a demo or just a general discussion on food safety, reach out to us at inecta.com or sales@inecta.com. Thank you everybody. Hope you have a great weekend.